Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I just wanted to do a bit of a talking head video on the NVIDIA RTX graphics cards in general, and just kind of give my opinions on these cards, the launch, and also kind of the perception that has been adopted by the public, because there's a lot of, I guess, RTX hate going on right now. I myself have been guilty of this and, talking about ray tracing performance because personally, I wasn't very happy with the performance of ray tracing, at least with its initial impression on Battlefield 5. Now, obviously, it's been patched since then, but, there's a lot of other stuff kind of circulating around with RTX, not just ray tracing and performance, but also the pricing and things like that. So ever since these cards came out, there's just been a ton of backlash around them, and I think a lot of that kind of starts with the pricing. And give me your thoughts, everything what you say here in the video. Give me your thoughts if you have counterpoints or whatever, pluses or minuses for these cards. Let me know down in the comments below. As with a video like this, I always look forward to just kind of continuing on the discussion and opening up a dialogue with people and getting your feedback. So, as I said, I want to start talking about the pricing, because I think that is where a lot of the, the backlash came from initially, was seeing the price increase on these cards. And I know from talking with NVIDIA over the past few weeks, ever since my first Battlefield 5 video, which they did not like that video at all. Like, they were very upset. They're like, why are you saying that this is bad and don't buy this card for this and that? And I can understand where they're coming from. And in terms of the pricing, a lot of people think these cards are overpriced, and I could definitely see that point, and I definitely agree in some respects, because when you look at it from generation to generation, a lot of us got stuck in this we got used to the status quo, more or less. When going back from like Fermi to Kepler to Maxwell to Pascal, the cards were pretty much all about the same exact price. And I mean, we had like Titans coming out here and there. Those started at like $1,000, then they went up to $1,200. Now they're costing $2,400, even $3,000. So the prices on these cards have gotten more and more, between Turing and Pascal, that was really the biggest price increase. Before that, it might have went up by like maybe $25-50. It's like, okay, new architectures, new technology, like, okay, a little bit of a price increase is okay. But, going from $550 at launch to $600 at launch is a hell of a lot different than going from $600 to $1,200 for your top-end card. And I understand that it's different because the 2080 Ti came out right away as opposed to later on, but it doesn't change the fact that those cards are almost double what they would have been when they came out on previous series. So the price increase just from one generation to the next was way more than what we had seen in any of the previous generations, and I think that's why so many people kind of hated these cards right at the beginning, even before they were actually released, because it kind of priced out a lot of the market. Maybe people that had been waiting for new cards to come out to upgrade, because we had a really big lull between graphics card launches besides some refreshes. But going from Pascal to Turing, we waited over 2 years for those cards to actually come out. And then once they did come out, people that had maybe been waiting because of the the GPU pricing boom with Bitcoin not Bitcoin mining, just basically GPU mining in general, it was almost impossible to get a graphics card all throughout 2018 and for most of 2017. So once that finally started to die down, and then we're like, okay, we're getting new graphics cards finally, this is going to be the time to upgrade, and maybe you had like a $400 to $500 budget, and you were really looking forward to it, and then it comes out, and it's just like, yeah, it's like $800, $1,200, maybe $500 for a 2070. It just started to make the 10 series look a lot more attractive. And of course, you can say, all right, we got this new card coming out, brand new architecture, RT cores and tensor cores, something that has never been done before in a consumer graphics card, and we're really going after ray tracing, this other technology that we have never seen before, and it is a huge leap. Being able to do ray tracing in real time is insanely impressive. This is something that we probably shouldn't have seen for like another 3 to 5 years. However, we saw it, we're seeing it now. It's here now, and compared to how long it used to take to be able to render a single scene with ray tracing, and being able to do it now in real time, and for $1,200, getting over 60 frames per second in most instances now since the patch in Battlefield 5 is very impressive. But for a lot of people that just want to play games in general and maybe aren't necessarily interested so much in the most cutting edge graphics, it did price out a lot of people, so I think that's why it left a bad taste in some people's mouths. And it kind of made the 10 series look a lot more appealing, and there are a lot of people that think that maybe that's why these cards are priced so high, because there is a large overstock right now of the 10 series, because NVIDIA was producing more of these GPUs than they had been previously because of the big mining boom. Mining was going like crazy. There were not enough GPUs to go around. So companies like AMD and NVIDIA started producing these GPUs in higher and higher numbers. And then the 20 series comes out and the mining starts to die off. And now they're stuck with these 10 series cards, and they're still out there. You can still find 10 series cards very regularly. Doesn't seem to have reached end of life yet. And you could still get them, and cards like the 1080 Ti, even like a used 1080 Ti, starts to seem very appealing compared to some of the newer touring cards that have come out. And especially with not really having much competition in the marketplace. I mean, when these RTX cards came out, the previous generation was still beating AMD quite handily, especially in the high-end space. The mid-range, I feel like, is much better for AMD over like the last year, and even right now, like the 580, those have come down in price to around $200, and those compete and even beat the GTX 1060 in a lot of instances. They're very close in like DX11, but when it comes to Vulkan or DirectX 12, the RX 580 typically takes a very significant lead. And then they just did the refresh with the 590, which pretty much beats the 1060 across the board, although those are around $300 right now, which is about what you could find a GTX 1060 6GB card for, and you're getting more video memory. So at the mid-range, AMD kind of seems to be winning that battle, which is honestly the majority of gamers, 1080p gamers. That's most people. This super duper high end right now, NVIDIA is really in a class of their own. I mean, you've got Vega, which has even seen their own price drops recently. You could find Vega 64 cards for under $500, which is a pretty darn good deal. And then you've got NVIDIA with just their own class, really. Anything from the 1080 Ti and upward is just NVIDIA. There's no competition there whatsoever, so they kind of can dictate whatever pricing that they want, and they might not even care about what AMD is doing there. They might just be charging this because of the new ray tracing technology, and they've got to raise the prices because of that. And with ray tracing, RTX, even though it's DXR, RTX is right in the name. It's ray tracing. It's in the name of the card, and when these cards first came out, people that were going out and spending this huge price premium, that were willing to put up the money for the cards, they didn't have any games to play with it. They didn't have any ray tracing games. They didn't have any games using DLSS right at launch until Battlefield 5 on November 20th. It came out officially. So some people were waiting up to 2 months, if they were a very early adopter on these cards, to actually be able to go ahead and use ray tracing features. And right away, the performance was terrible. Now, since then, it's been patched. It's gotten significantly better, up to 50% in some instances, depending on which areas of the game you happen to be playing in, and right now it is in a very playable state, and you could definitely go ahead and use the RTX features, but that doesn't change what we talked about previously with the pricing and just kind of pricing out a lot of people that would have been able to maybe afford like a little bit of a higher end card compared to previous generations. And I understand that it's a new technology, and we will certainly get, better implementations over time, and the performance on it will likely improve, and we'll see more games come out that are better suited really for ray tracing, because I don't think Battlefield was really the best game to roll it out with day one. That game has problems with the DirectX 12 implementation on that engine, and also with it being a really fast-paced multiplayer shooter where every frame counts. 60 FPS is kind of the minimum where you want to be for playing something like that, but obviously people that are really competitive want to even be getting 144 FPS, 240 FPS on high refresh rate monitors that can support it. So getting as high a frame rate as possible is paramount for a lot of people that take competitive games seriously, which is a lot of people that would be likely to buy Battlefield. So ray tracing is not something that's necessary in a game like that, and that doesn't take away from the fact that the technology is incredible. That's what I said at the start of the video. It's insanely amazing that we are actually able to do real-time ray tracing right now. The way that it rolled out with the bad performance and the game that they chose, it was just a very bad first impression, and sometimes it could be very hard to overcome a bad first impression. And obviously, we'll probably see Shadow of the Tomb Raider get patched in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully, it's sooner rather than later, because I would love to see at least one more game get ray tracing before the end of 2018, but we haven't really received any updates on that, and that's something I would just like to see. Like, just, give us a status update, let us know a tentative release date, how things are going along, with ray tracing in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because I think more people want to see it get rolled out into other games, especially things like DLSS, which was absent from Battlefield 5. We did not get to see that in there at all, and that could likely help improve the performance significantly. Having something like DLSS and then pair that up with ray tracing could really help out a lot in terms of the frame rate. So I don't think Battlefield 5 is going to be getting DLSS, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider is meant to support both that and ray tracing, so something I definitely look forward to seeing. And, ray tracing performance aside, the performance on these cards is excellent. I mean, a 2080 Ti can run 4K 60 FPS like no questions asked on pretty much every game out there at like high or ultra settings, and that's not something we had seen on previous generations. So for that, it makes sense, especially with 4K 144 hertz monitors being out there and being able to use those now. It's definitely a good card. Now, was the performance what we expected? I would say maybe not. If you look at the previous generations, going from like a 980 Ti to a 1080 Ti, we were seeing anywhere from a 50 to 80% performance improvement, which was huge from one generation to the next. However, going from the 1080 Ti to the 2080 Ti, you're lucky if you see 25 to 30%, which is, it's still okay, but it's not as much as we had seen in previous generations, which kind of comes back to what I was saying with the pricing as well. We got used to this status quo of what the prices would be. We got used to what the performance improvements would be, and we just didn't get that. So it just kind of shook everything up and just, it made a lot of people upset because it's not what we were used to, and we had an expectation in our mind of what it was going to be, and it wasn't that. So I think that's why so many people ended up being disappointed at the end of the day, and I think that's understandable, and I could definitely see the point of view from both sides, from people I see commenting on the videos to reviewers, and also NVIDIA side with how they're trying to push new technology, and it's going to cost money if you do want to get in there as an early adopter on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys, but as I said at the start, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I look forward to continuing this discussion along with you down there and getting your thoughts on the pricing, the performance, the ray tracing, and just launch in general and the first impressions that we've got with these RTX cards. And, if this, kind of helped things put into perspective for you, I would definitely want to see that down in the comments for you, for me, I should say. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here, and I will see you all tomorrow for another video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you then. Ciao.